welcome to Hot Mess Moments.
So hot, such a mess, such a moment.
Yeah, and today's moment is vacationing.
Vacation, all I ever
Never
wanted.
wanted.
Do you ever think of like the Rugrats movie when you hear that song now?
No, but now I do, because that moment was fierce in the Rugrats movie.
Where did they go? Las Vegas or Paris?
They go to Paris.
Okay,
sure.
I don't know why I thought they went to Las Vegas.
But why did the Rugrats movies pop off? Like, both of them are really good movies.
Wait, time out. How did they go to Paris? Weren't they in that huge Winnebago?
This is a tangent. First movie is about Dill, and like they have to go and rescue Dill, Tommy's little brother. The second movie is Chucky's dad gets married to a woman who lives in France.
To a woman.
And I think that's the story, is they go for the wedding to France.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But before we talk more about our Rugrats recap here on Hot Mess Moments, my name is Beth Dixon, also known as Augusta Wind11. And you can catch me on all my social medias at Augusta Wind11. And The Nanny is my favorite show, but I've never seen Lost before. Dylan?
Yeah. My name's Dylan Zahner, also known as 8-Bit Dylan online. Streamer, YouTube, Hot Mess Extraordinaire. Lost is my favorite show, but I've never seen The Nanny. And we started off as a fun little podcast recapping both these episodes. And
yes,
for those that are tuning in season 4, newsflash, we've got a Lost update.
Yeah.
We will be covering 3 episodes at the end of this episode.
And they are juicy. They are juicy.
Episodes. We watched.
They're like juicy nectarines, baby.
Nectarines, honey.
That juice is flowing.
Yeah, and we're not quite sure if it's a tasty kind of juice, but it's a juice.
Oh,
it's definitely juicy. The 3 episodes are part Avion, The Man from Tallahassee, and Expose. So we'll be talking about those towards the end of today's podcast. But our topic tonight is, it's the summer. People want to take trips.
Yeah.
People want to go out. And you know what? I know you all turn to Hot Mess Moments as your number one news source for the best tips and tricks for lifestyle and just how to basically be a functioning human being. And so we're going to give you some of our hot mess vacationing tips today.
Absolutely. But first, before we even talk about vacations,
yes,
because neither of us have been on one right now or anything.
No, we have not.
How are you doing? How's life? How's work?
Yeah, work's been pretty good. It's obviously been a 3-day weekend with there being Father's Day and Juneteenth. Twitch is so kick-ass for giving us Juneteenth off. If you don't know what Juneteenth is, please go look it up. But it's just been really nice. But all of my festivities came to a crashing halt when I started experiencing pain in my wrist. So I have it currently wrapped up for those that are on video. I have not been able to play video games at all today. And honestly, I'm realizing very quickly I need to get out more and do more things besides play video games, because I truly did not know what to do with myself. I took a bath today to like put some heat on my wrist. And then I sat on the couch and started watching documentaries on Netflix. And I was like, is this truly the best I could do on a day off? And I don't know if it is. And so I've just been going crazy. So I've been really looking forward to this podcast tonight because it's something I can actually do.
Well, that's the thing too. When I saw your wrist, my first thought was it was just too limp, too long.
Honestly, I needed support. I was like, girl, keep it up here.
You know, they tell you every 20 minutes to look 20 feet away from you and to turn your neck in order to do so and to focus on something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And the reason why they do that is, first, it's good for your eyes, for those of us who are looking at computers all the time. But secondly, because it gets your neck moving. And so much of what we do is so stationary. I wouldn't be shocked if your wrist is saying, hey, girl, could we do some strengthening here?
Yeah, girl.
That damn mouse is not doing shit.
The doctor also told me that he requests all of his homosexual clients that they strengthen their wrists and stop being so goddamn prissy, you stupid bitch. Yeah. And that's what he said too. And I said, I'm gagging for you. And then,
Okay.
yeah, fat gay, as we learned, fat gay. And so I have to like strengthen my wrists. Obviously, I didn't do it in this one enough.
Well, so
And
here's the
so
thing. My doctor told me a really good way to strengthen your wrist is to play tennis. And I said, I
Here it
don't do
goes.
that.
I know.
So
I already know it's
I
coming.
did.
I
It's backwards. Hold on.
I knew
have to
it.
do
I
again.
knew it was coming.
Ah,
It's still backwards.
2, 3. Well, it's not if I do that.
There you go.
I'm just doing it this way though, because I can show off how
it.
you do it with your wrist. Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
okay.
Oh,
So
honey. Okay.
that's been my weekend. How about you, Beth?
This past weekend, I did not get Juneteenth off from work. So I was working yesterday for Juneteenth. And then I also for this weekend, it was kind of cool. I got up at the end of last week. I went up to where my university is that I work for, and I got to see some of my friends, including my friend who moved to Maine. So I got to spend some time with them, which was really nice. And then I went back to my parents' house for a night and then got up on Father's Day and had breakfast with my dad. And then rode a 5.5-hour train home. All the subways are fucked up in the city on the weekends in the summer. So I got to navigate the city by going uptown and then going downtown in order to not pay a $90 cab to come back to my house.
Oh my God.
And instead just got to ride a whole bunch of subways, only to wait at the subway stop that is about 10 minutes away from me to see if I could go one more to the one that is 2 minutes from me. And to find out after waiting for 15 minutes that one was going to skip my stop. So I just had to walk up and then walk 10 minutes away. So was a fun time.
Yeah.
It was so goods and bads. That's what happens.
That actually leads so well
into vacations, because traveling woes are like a rite of passage with vacations.
Absolutely. And I don't know if y'all know this, but Beth and I actually have our diplomas in hot mess vacation tips.
Yes.
I minored in that. And
I majored. Girl.
Oh, girl. Oh, you got a good well of information.
I got an internship in it.
Girl. We are about to give you some hardcore tips. So if you yourself are planning a super fun vacation this summer, we've got you covered. Because Beth and I also recently took a vacation to New York. And by recent, I mean like
a year ago.
About a year ago.
It literally almost was a year ago.
Yeah.
It's 11 months ago, actually, to this day. But for me, it wasn't so much a vacation where I went somewhere, because I had just moved 2 weeks beforehand to New York City.
So you literally are where you are currently at.
Hey, but it was a vacation in the sense that I got a couple days off to like go off and explore and that kind of thing with you. But Dylan, tell me a little bit about some of your vacation tips and tricks.
Oh my God, I've got you covered. So, number one tip.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not doing this, you're not vacationing. I need you to hoe yourself out.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
my number one tip.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stand people who are like, "Oh my God, I'm like in New Orleans. Like I just don't know. Do I like go out and have fun?" I'm like, "Girl, you're in fucking New Orleans. You know your whack ass is not going to be in New Orleans anytime soon.
Yeah.
Have some fun, go get yourself a drink, flash your titties a little bit, say hi to God, show up and show out. Because the thing is, people plan so much for the future. They're going to say, oh yeah, I can go there sometime next year or in 2 years. Well, guess what, bitch? You're there now. So enjoy it now.
Yeah.
And I just don't subscribe to this. I just say, have fun when you're there and, let your freak flag fly. How about you, Beth? What's your number one tip?
Okay. My number one tip is always do something illegal. Always.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, you're on vacation, it doesn't count. Right?
I mean, yeah.
When
steal, what are you going to do? Arrest
steal, trespass, I don't know, sell fake things to people. Who knows? I think, I mean, there's something, come up with something creative, right? If you aren't doing something illegal, then it's not a real vacation. Like you might as well just be your normal law abiding citizen self in your normal life. Vacation is about reinventing yourself. It's about putting yourself out there. It's about taking some time to reflect on the things that you just aren't in your normal day. And so become that person. Go ahead, steal that gun from the cop. Who cares?
Who gives a shit? Like, I love that you're turning vacation into this like self-reflection and self-discovery moment. You're like, you know what? Maybe I am a serial killer. Like,
yeah. You know what? Katya once said on, never change unless who you are is a horrible person, right? I say vacation, you flip it the other way around. If you were normally a good person on vacation, become a shitty one.
Become a menace to society.
Honestly, what? Like one moment of your life is going to determine the rest of it if you get caught and thrown in prison for life?
I mean,
right?
Look at Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller went to Hawaii and became a fucking horrible, horrendous person. That was.
Oh my God, they're a mess.
Oh yeah, they are a mess. They are such a mess.
But you know what? I think that they listened to us in our podcast and they said, I'm going to go out and do something mega illegal. They just took it a little too far.
Yeah, a little. By little, we mean a lot.
And just
restraining orders.
Restraining order. I mean, like literally, what's this whole deal? I haven't read all the stories. What's this whole deal with Ezra Miller kidnapping a girl?
I have no idea, but Ezra Miller needs to be stopped at some point. Something's going on. Girl,
a lot of things are going on there, and I think we need to seek some help. So, Ezra, if you're listening to this, I think you took a little too much hot messery to your vacation.
Yeah. Like it's just meant to stay in the vacation, but girl, I think it spilled into your real life.
Also, Ezra, we're not really supposed to be going to Hawaii. That's a real tip. That's a real tip. Don't go to Hawaii. Literally don't. Natives are telling people don't come here.
No one in Hawaii wants you in Hawaii. Please take your bachelorette ass and go to a gay bar like everyone else.
Yeah, go to Nashville, which I found out is the #1 bachelorette location in the United States. I've never knew that. I've never even heard of going to Nashville.
Who is sitting there turning their pussies out saying, I want to go to fucking Nashville? For
Southern people.
God damn.
No, but I mean, honestly, Nashville kind of makes sense. It's like, live music and you have all that going on. But there's also like Nashville and Memphis can be kind of scary.
Wow. Yeah. If I had to choose. Okay, wait. That leads me into my question then. What would be, before we get into more tips, what is your dream vacation?
Oh. You're putting me on the spot, even though this was my idea before the podcast.
Okay, I stole it. Okay, I'll tell you mine.
Tell me.
So my husband and I so badly want to go to Japan.
Oh.
Like, I just really want to see Japan. I really want to like walk around and truly just feel the essence of Japanese culture and just like embrace it. But I have this huge fear of traveling to foreign countries, mostly because I'm a dumb bitch. And knowing me, I would make some sort of social faux pas and not realize that I've made said social faux pas. And like I was scared to meet my husband in Ireland. Like that's how like ridiculous it was. Like I was scared to go to Ireland because I was scared I would say something wrong or do something wrong, especially meeting his family. Like, I think like that because Japan is such a high tier place I want to be, I'm scaring myself to even going there. So my husband and I really want to go there for a honeymoon. We're still figuring out if we can plan that trip and go, but girl, I'm ready to turn my pussy out.
So here's what I'll say to that though, Dylan. Okay. #1, and this is serious. Like you are going with the intentions of being a good person and a good visitor to another country and wanting to learn from them. And that already puts you leaps and bounds ahead of so many fucking Americans from other places.
So many fucking pigs.
No, seriously. Like, we have a horrible reputation as travelers, to the point of when I studied abroad to London, right? So I went to one of the most multicultural cities in the world, but I also went to the country that is arguably, besides maybe Canada, most like us. And even they were like, you know what? When you're here, you might want to just say that you're Canadian, not American.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't blame you, which was great for me because I grew up literally 20 minutes from Canada. So I could be like, I could pull this off. But
Oh
no,
my God.
Americans are literally the worst travelers. They do the hot mess a little too hard, you know. But when you go to Japan, I think that because first of all, you have a husband who also just loves Japanese culture and pop culture and is looking up little things in language all the time. I think that there's going to be an automatic.
Don't embrace it.
Yeah.
Don't embrace his tendencies.
I think that you're going to be in a much better position than you think you would be.
Probably.
Like you're not a Karen. You know what I mean?
Girl, I can be if I want to be though. I could pull. Ooh, I'm pull it out. Ooh, I would be a fuck. Ooh, girl.
When you say pull it out, do you mean the Karen or your dick?
Karen. Like I want to be. Sometimes I just want to be like a big tittied, fat assed, stupid bitch of a Karen. No, I actually don't.
I'm right here.
That truly sounds like absolute hell. But could you imagine, like, I want to see a Karen with a clear BBL, like fully
Kim Kardashian,
fully taut plastic skin, big chunky lips, but is complaining about like a spaghetti being completely wrong, like one noodle being
again, like Kim Kardashian. My favorite moment of all of the Kim Kardashian things is when they're like, what, in Bora Bora or something like that. And she dives in and she's like, oh, my diamond. And Kourtney's sitting there holding her baby. And she's like, Kim, there are people who are dying. And I'm like, yeah.
I forgot about that. That's true. You're right. Kim Kardashian is that BBL Karen.
Yeah. Okay. Change your name to Karen Kardashian.
Ooh.
It has a K. It fits.
It does fit. Wait. Before we get off topic, what is your number one dream vacation spot?
So I'm a little basic. I have two different kinds of vacations I like going on. The one kind is like, shut up and pass me a drink on a beach and I don't want to talk to anybody. Like I love that kind of I need that kind of relaxation. I was privileged enough growing up that my parents could take us to like Myrtle Beach every year, or my grandparents used to be snowbirds, so they would go down to Florida. And that's a term.
No, I'm just thinking of you going to like, my mom used to take me to Jersey Shore.
We only went to the Jersey Shore once, but that was when we were all adults. And so that was a very different thing. And that was just me at the casino the entire time. Like, yes. Yeah. No, but like my grandparents used to be snowbirds and like rent a condo or something for the winter. And then like we would all come down at some point and like spend some time. So I kind of got used to like the idea of like once a year, the people of the North will travel down to the South. And like, I like that sense of relaxation. So in that sense, I would love to go to a place like, I've never been to like Trinidad and Tobago. I would love to go to like Aruba. I would love to kind of go all over the Caribbean. One of the best trips I've ever done was in Puerto Rico. And so really got to go to all areas of Puerto Rico, not just like the quote unquote touristy places, and really get to know a lot of like the Borinquen culture and like what people are about and the different areas and of the island. And like Puerto Rico is a small island, but it's got rainforest, desert, and like some of the best surfing. And like it's got it's really incredible. And its history is so cool. So I do like learning about histories and cultures and such when I go. But the other dream vacation is the
Did you say your first dream vacation? You just told me places you've been.
No, I said I would love to go to those places. I've
I
in the
thought you said you've been there. My
No, no,
bad.
no. I've never been to Trinidad and Tobago. I've never been to Aruba or anything like that. That would be
Oh,
like
okay,
one
okay, my
dream.
bad.
But
I
the
see.
other dream vacation I would love to do is kind of go all over Europe. Like I would love to go and
Yeah.
see like Eastern Europe and Central Europe and like the Nordic area. I would love to go to like the Caribbean. I really want to go to Croatia. Like I think that just looks so gorgeous. And
Yeah.
Game of Thrones put Croatia on the map because King's Landing was shot there. Oh my God, it looks amazing. Um,
Also,
hmm,
Croatian men are kind of hot.
kind of.
Yeah, yeah,
Hello.
they're pretty hot. I'm not gonna lie.
I think that would be really cool. I mean, I just generally want to travel. I have a huge fear. I get very claustrophobic on flights. So as much as I would love to go to like Japan, China, Korea, or like Australia, New Zealand, I also have no idea how I would get there unless I went the other way, where I was like, first I'll be in Europe, and then I'll go
Yeah.
across Asia that way, then fly down, and then make my way back because
Oh my God.
I'm not doing 14 hours on a flight. I can't.
Girl, let me tell you my experience. One time I went to Australia and I was not paying for the flight. I was invited by the city of Melbourne, Australia, to do some video games coverage for their like indie games awards festival that happens down there every year.
Hmm.
And they had me book my own flights. So I booked my flight through Hong Kong because I was like, I want to go to Hong Kong. I've never
Oh,
been. I just
okay.
want to see the airport. Girl, I made the worst mistake ever.
Oh, girl.
I was on a flight for 23 hours.
One
I
flight?
No, it was split between 4 different flights, but there was no breaks in between. For 23 hours, I was
Wait,
on
so
flights.
you would land immediately, get on another plane and go?
Or it'd be like I would have like an hour and a half to like go get food, go do something, then be on a plane.
I
Like
no. Mm-mm.
it was the smell emanating from my body because I could not. I was sitting for like 23 hours. I was going insane. But I will say the Hong Kong airport was fierce. Like
Ooh, how?
so fierce. It was just so pretty. What was really interesting, and this is a tip for anyone that goes to like this is a tip because I don't know much, but I know like in the Hong Kong airport, what was really cool was they have these like temperature checks. And they have this like big machine that
Mm.
basically checks your temperature to make sure you don't have a fever. This is pre-COVID. So I was like, oh, that's really cool to like make sure you're
Yeah.
not sick, you're not spreading any illnesses within the country. But it was so wild. The smog was so bad outside of the airport, you couldn't see out the windows. Like it was just covered in smog.
Ugh.
And so I remember like going to Hong Kong and wanting to see like the environment, and I literally couldn't see anything outside of the airport. But it was really cool to be there. But this leads me to another tip that I have, and this is a
What's that tip?
legitimate tip,
Mhm.
realsies this time.
Okay.
When you go to book an airplane, a flight, do it through the actual airline itself. Don't ever go through a third party. You can look up deals and you can look up fun brochures or anything through like third party websites. Do not ever book through a third party, because I had a really bad experience one time where I had booked a flight, I think through another like Trivago or some other like
Yeah.
weird like third party
Kayak
website,
or something like
Kayak or
yeah.
something. And it was like through American Airlines, and the flight was so delayed, it was delayed by an entire day. So, like 8-9 hours, but it was
Still.
overnight. And so instead of them booking me on another hotel, or sorry, putting me in a hotel first off and putting me on a sooner flight because the entire flight had to get rebooked, they told me to my face, you did not book through our website. We can't help you. And I was like, are you serious? I like kind of got all mad. They didn't put me up in a hotel. They didn't give me
Mhm.
any food or drink voucher. and they put me on a flight that was like at noon the next day. So I had to like stay overnight in a airport, sleeping on the ground. Don't recommend.
Are certain sites though that if you buy their coverage, they will do all of that for you.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
are, so for example, I booked a flight recently for an upcoming vacation we will have together. But I did
Any hot mess heads in Ireland? Look forward to us.
We're gonna be there.
Yeah.
But I booked my flights through Hopper. Now Hopper is different from like Trivago, Travelocity, Kayak, whatever, Expedia, in the sense of what it's doing is it's actually telling you when is the best time to book. And so when you book through them, they have different kinds of things that you can do. So like I bought one insurance that was $25 and it said, okay, for this, you can change your prices or your flights through us and it will be $0 change. You could do that for free. They also have options for this is a 100% refundable flight, which is what I did as well. So there's different options that you can do through different apps. I like Hopper a lot, but you have to make sure, I agree with you, Dylan. And I'm the same way with hotels. Don't ever book a hotel through a third party. Book it through the hotel itself, because if you find a lower price somewhere, you can tell the hotel, I found this price right here. And most of the time, they will match that price. And so that's what's really great about them. But then you have all the benefits of having worked, through their website or through their staff, and you can get all the discounts and such that way as well.
Yeah. Another tip that I have for those that are traveling abroad is download Grindr. No, I'm kidding. Don't. I have a story that is banned on my stream that I tell called the Australia story. I will not tell the story now, but it is a horror story about a time that the first time I traveled to Australia, and I had downloaded Grindr and
he had the best sex of his entire life.
I had the worst sex I have ever had in my entire life.
Can you legally count that as sex?
No. I don't think I could. Also, like the rare occasion where someone reverses their age on an app where they look better older, but they purposely use a picture of themselves when they were less fit because they looked younger in the photo. And I was like, interesting choice. Are you that concerned about your age? But also like you look great. Like he was like super fit, like hella fit gym body.
See, this is what's interesting is actually, now that I think about it, I was trying to think of like, what are the vacations that I've done as an adult, like proper vacations.
Yeah.
Not like I went and visited my friends and we did something, like proper vacations. They've always been with my parents, and also I'm ace. And so like literally that's never been on my radar. But like I went to Tulum, Mexico, in the same way that like, if you go to Hawaii, you're like ruining the economy and the environment in Hawaii. I did that for Mexico. What up? But I went to Tulum, Mexico and stayed in a resort where it's mostly families or, adults or whatever. And I had no desire to go meet anybody my age. I also had no desire, like most of it is like, hey parents, I'm going to read my book and like be by the pool or go in the pool. And then I'm going to go get a lot of drinks. And then I'm going to go get a massage. And that's pretty much, I love massages. Do treat yourself. If you can afford to do a vacation, I highly suggest do something for yourself that is meant to be relaxing. Even if you do something that's like a vacation where like you're being a tourist and walking around and going sightseeing and learning about culture, do one thing that is going to be relaxing. That's a real tip I have.
Yeah, like do shots off the restaurant staff,
But like make sure they're belly button shots. Cause like the fact that they're laid on the table makes you feel like you start mirroring their sense of relaxation and you're like, I want to lay down right now.
I like it. That's a
You
great
know?
tip. We're so good at this.
Wait, okay. So one time when I went to Puerto Rico, I was with my select choir in college, and we stayed at this one place in Ricon where which is right on the beach, and it's considered where they have some of the best surfing or whatever, which, let's be honest, the Caribbean not known for surfing, but it is a good surfing spot. We stayed at this hotel that now, we were also college students, so the university booked it for us and everything. But for us, we were like, this place is a palace. But if I were to book there now, I'd be like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So it was kind of like rundown little apartments that we all got to say. We're like, dude, we have a kitchen and we have like 2 bedrooms. Like, this is amazing. And now I would walk in and be like, the bed frame is broken. There's rust everywhere. The air conditioning doesn't properly work. Like, I'd be like, hell no. But we had such a blast. And what we ended up doing at this one particular place was that we literally took all the mattresses off of our beds and put them in the sand on the beach overnight and just slept on the beach one night. Best night of sleep I've ever had.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, the hotel staff was not happy with us. So this feeds back into hot tip number 1: do something illegal.
Illegal, exactly. No, but that sounds absolutely amazing. Like sleeping
really
on the
cool.
beach. I have always had this fantasy of sleeping on a bed outside that has just a slight roof over it. So
Yes.
that way, and then have rain. I just want like
Ooh.
constant rainfall. And so like you get the smells of like rainfall drifting in, but none of the water.
Yeah.
Have
you ever
my
gone camping?
God.
Do you like going camping / would you go camping?
You're all like, Dylan, that's called fucking camping.
That's camping. Which is a form of vacation.
It is. I
don't understand it, but
I love camping.
I would go camping.
See, I have no problem camping. I say this as someone that literally went stir crazy not being able to play video games today. But when you're in an environment like camping, I think it's like switches your brain to get into like, let's just watch nature. Let's just have a place to decompress. The one thing with camping though, and this is an actual tip for anyone that goes camping, you need to have a place that you can like decompress in, because you're being bombarded by nature and like all this shit over and over again. Take some time, take like 15, 20 minutes to just sit in your tent. And like, you better have a tent. Sit in your tent and don't do anything, because like you just need to like relax, because it can be very overwhelming being in nature, especially us people, us millennials. And if you're a Gen X or Gen Xers, we're not used to camping all the time. Get into it.
So I've gone camping a couple of times. I don't like it. And here's the main reason. This is also Beth showing a level of privilege that I've had. My family, since I was little, had what was a camp that barely had electricity when I was a little kid. And then throughout my life has like been renovated and renovated and renovated. And now it's just like a nice lake house. It's where my parents live now. But when I first started going there, it was like, hi, we have a light bulb. And like, that was it. Like, it barely had indoor plumbing, everything. And so I grew up going to a place that had a roof, that had like walls and like,
a building.
It was a building. And I get all of the same, like, hey, I'm going to go sit out on the patio and like watch the hummingbirds, or I'm going to go, oh my gosh, there's deer. Oh my gosh, there's a coyote. Like there's things that we can like look and see throughout all year round. Right. So I get that. And then I'm like, but this has been great. I'm going to go in and sit on a couch now and watch some TV. So I understand that a lot of people do it for like the disconnect, but I'm just like not one of those people. Like, my disconnect is like, this has been great. I'm bored now. Please let me go do something that like stimulates my brain or whatever. And so I have found the couple of times that I've gone camping, I've been sinfully bored the entire time. Like, what else do we do? Like, are we going to play
Yeah.
a game? And then they're like, yeah, let's play a game. I'm like, I could have done this at a table. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like literally, I'm just like, oh, basic white bitch millennial, I think, when it
I,
comes to that.
I think for me, because as I'm getting older, my life is becoming more hustle and bustle. It
Mm.
feels really good to like just like cut yourself off and literally have nothing to do. It drives me up a wall, and it like causes me anxiety to have nothing to do. But I think I need that
Mm.
sometimes because like my mind and my body are constantly in a state of like you have shit to do. You always have something on the back of your
Yeah.
head and like and back of your mind.
I think
But
that's interesting.
yeah, I feel like even though it causes me stress to have nothing to do, like I need to have those moments where I'm like kayaking. I love to go kayaking where I can just like literally not think about anything besides rowing a boat and enjoying
And
nature.
that I love doing that. Like, that's why I like going up to my parents' place, because a couple of years ago, my brother and my sister-in-law were like incredible to me. And they were like, this is your birthday and Christmas present. And they got me a paddleboard. And so I love
Oh
like
my God,
just
yeah.
kind of going paddleboarding on the lake. And I do it in like little spurts, because for those that haven't gone paddleboarding, like your feet muscles get like very cramped very quickly, because you're constantly balancing using your feet, like with the little waves or if a boat goes
Yeah.
by and all that kind of stuff. Plus, where I'm in a bay that I have to go against the wind. So I'm like using
Oh
more
shit, yeah.
strength and such all the time. So I do like little things. I'm like, okay, I just did my little like 5 to 10 minute thing. I'm going to come back and just relax. And then I'm going to pop back on and do another 5 to 10 minutes. Versus kayaking or canoeing, I can like get in there and just kind of go for a while. Like, go for a 45-minute kayak ride, come back, have a drink,
Yeah.
and another 45 minutes, and then have another drink. And then
Like it's funny because like I say all of that, but my last kayaking trip was nothing relaxing at all. There was like
okay, is this
I this
is
is the
this the
story.
story? I need to hear
Yeah.
this. I haven't
Okay.
heard you say this yet.
I'm gonna TLDR it because it's a pretty long story.
Okay.
Basically, went on a 16-mile kayaking trip, and about halfway through, one of our people we think breaks her hand. Thankfully, she
Oh.
didn't. I had to like row a tandem kayak without her helping because I was like, and I'm already like 12 miles in. I'm fucking exhausted. We find a guy completely covered in blood. Um, his girlfriend had hit him in the head with an oar on purpose because apparently he was super violent and was like attacking people on the river. He runs into the forest, and we don't know where he is. They're freaking out because he's going to die. He's bleeding profusely. And so we were like, we'll try to we'll call 911 when we get some signal. So we keep going down. He jumps out of the fucking forest covered in blood. It's like a fucking horror film. So we're sitting there and we just got through being told how violent this man is. And
Right.
so he jumps out and he's talking to himself. He's like splashing water. He's clearly incredibly drunk, talking to himself, mumbling to himself. And I am like telling like Nigel and like everyone we're with, like, be quiet. Don't say a thing. We slowly drift by. Eventually we hit another family that's on the bank. We warn them of what's going on. We're like, get your kids away from the forest. They were like playing around the forest edge because I was like, that man fucking just got through running like a mile through the forest and like ended up where we were. So I was like, that man was trucking it. So there's nothing stopping him from reaching you. Needless to say, it was a very stressful kayaking trip. Hopefully your kayaking trip isn't like that at all when you go.
I need to go back. Like, that's really scary, and I'm happy that nobody else was hurt or anything like that. But 16 miles, that's a lot.
I love kayaking. Like I probably could have gone longer than that if it wasn't so stressful, like the entire situation. Because you just like pack a lunch and then like you just keep going. At some points you can just drift down the river. You don't even need to.
Yeah. There was, when I was going into my senior year, that summer I worked on campus, and we have a river that goes right through the town and everything. But if you go a few miles up, you can actually just float down the river for a little while.
Oh, love
And
it.
so we found a day that we were like, okay, weather looks good. What we're going to do is literally take one car, drop it off at where we will get out, and then have the other car where we drop off us in the very beginning so that when we get out, we can go back to the other car. We're good to go. So
Yeah.
we do the thing. We're like, okay, we all have tubes. Like nobody had a kayak. We were like, the very beginning is like a little bit of like rapids and everything. So we're just like on normal inner tubes, like, don't fall. Like, yeah. And then like we had like a floating cooler and we all had like our beers and everything. None of us littered. Don't litter. That's a real hot mess tip. You are not a hot mess if you litter. You were just a piece of shit.
Absolutely.
So we got down and we got about, I don't know, like 2 or 3 miles in, and it was really nice. We had plenty of sun. And then all of a sudden the wind changed and we had about 2 more miles to go. And then at about 1.5 miles to go, we noticed thunderclouds coming out of nowhere. And we were like, we can't get out. So it was about 5 of us. So I eventually, as the resident I was a competitive swimmer. We made sure everybody was connected. I then swam for a mile and a half, dragging these bitches. And for like the last mile, it's raining. We're hearing very distant thunder. I'm like, we're going to fucking die. I do that. I was exhausted. We get all the way there. As soon as we get in the cars and start driving away, thunder or lightning struck not too far away from us. I was like, I can't believe that worked out. So long story short, if you are going to do kayaking, water sports, all that kind of stuff, and like water sports not in the bedroom, make sure that you were looking at the weather properly, because we were like, it's nice out now, let's go. And apparently if we had looked at the weather for the entirety of the day, we would have seen that there were thunderstorms.
I would love to see young Beth just fucking killing it down the river.
Girl, I used to have muscles. I used to be so fit as a swimmer. Like I had back muscles. Like I was a chiseled piece of ass. And now, very much not it.
And now I'm even more chiseled, bitch.
Listen, I'm very chiseled. You just can't see it underneath some of the other things I am.
Okay. So those are our vacation tips, but we have some juicy, as we said earlier, juicy episodes to cover of Lost. So it's time to enter Lost coverage 2022, Lost update. So Beth, we watched 3 episodes: Par Avion, which is the Claire-centric episode.
Yes.
The Man from Tallahassee, the Locke-centric episode. An Expose, the Nikki and Paulo-centered episode. Thoughts on the 3?
Okay, all 3 of them I think are iconic. I loved every single one of these episodes, and I loved them all for very different reasons. I thought the Claire one was interesting because now we know that Claire and Jack are half siblings.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't think about the possibility that Claire could have been.
It was hinted at. It was heavily hinted at.
So it made a lot of sense. But I was like, damn. So that was a really great moment to kind of figure out, which is like, it's kind of interesting because that means this baby that Jack has mostly ignored is actually his nephew.
Well, it's also interesting because then it explains why Jack's father fled to Australia after everything happened, because he wanted to reconnect with his other family down there, which happened to be Claire's family, which is just interesting.
What I'm interested about here is it must have been her Aunt Lindsay that told him to get off the property when he got to Australia.
I think so.
Because I thought it would be the mother, but we know that the mother is still on life. I'm assuming it's life support at this point, right?
I think so. Yeah.
That's a really sad situation. I'm not going to get into like the morality portion because everybody's different of how they feel about that. Totally. But that to me was really sad to watch.
It adds, I think, another layer to Claire's character here because like it truly, she's conflicted because she's got this psychic saying, you need to get on this flight. You need to give away this baby. But she's also got this concern of her mother's health. back at home in Australia. So she has this like duality of like, I need to get off this fucking island, but also recognizing that like maybe this island's the best place for this baby.
It's also really interesting too, because all I can think about is, okay, what's the interconnectedness of the psychic here? Right. And so we were told last time that like the psychic was intertwined with what's his face who died?
I know you're talking about. Oh my God. Not Boone.
No, we missed Boone.
Oh my God. Echo.
Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got to see like Echo kind of interact with him. So I'm still kind of interested to see, like, I don't know if he's like a member of Dharma and like he's trying to get Claire to go to the island.
Yeah.
Or he knows that Jack is on that flight and he's trying to get her to find family because clearly her Aunt Lindsay is kind of a cunt. Like, seriously, I was ready to throw down when she got in there. She's like, you went home and showered. And I was like, oh, what we're not going to do is take the person who was also in an accident, whose mother is laying there, and just start throwing shit at her, you piece of shit. Like, what? I was pissed at
I get this feeling that like Claire is like the redheaded stepchild of the family because she got pregnant so young.
But here's the other thing too. Like, she clearly was like a little emo girl, and I love that for her.
That too. Oh my God, her doing the tattoo. I was like, this is a vibe.
She was the piercing, you mean?
Oh, the piercing, that's what I meant. Yeah, the piercing girl.
She's also like black hair, like with like just like one color straying about halfway through the hair.
It kind of worked for her.
It did. I was like,
it did kind of work.
You know what doesn't work for that actress? The brunette hair they wanted her to be as Belle. I thought she would look so off that entire time.
So bad.
So when I saw her as a blonde in Lost, I was like, oh, this is so much more suitable for her.
It really is.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that was a great episode.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I want to know though, the titular episode where we learn a lot about Locke, the man from Tallahassee. What were your thoughts on that episode?
So I thought when he said, go get the man from Tallahassee, and we're talking about Ben here, I thought that meant Sawyer.
I mean,
I thought he was from Florida or something like that.
I could see the I could see where you thought that. Like I remember when I heard that originally, I was like, Tallahassee, like.
But that's what's interesting.
I thought that was where Sawyer was from, or like connected to. So that's where my mind went to originally too.
Or maybe he was from Tennessee. I can't remember. It was a T name in the South, and it's either that city or that state. But regardless, I thought he was going to be like, go kidnap Sawyer, who just escaped, which is why I was like, oh shit, this is about to void something in contract for Jack, and that's going to set Jack off. This whole 9 year Jack off.
Honestly, I do not want to see Jack off. I'm good. No.
You know what really sucks for Matthew Fox is that I'm never going to be able to take him seriously as an actor after watching this. I'm always going to look at him like, you're such a piece of shit. Oh, no. That was your character. No, you're such a
piece of shit.
No, so that was such an interesting episode. And it was one of those situations where I don't know why Locke thought, oh yeah, let me just go to my dad who clearly just had this guy murdered. Let me just go confront him. Why don't you talk to the cops and let them handle it? Because clearly you have information. Who are you covering for? The man who stole your kidney? And then you told him to get out of a life that, like, Locke was dumb. Locke tried to have more power than he ever has had, which I really think is the real reason why he doesn't want to leave the island, is that he truly does feel special and he has a sense of power here. It's also why he's really struggled in these past few episodes of not having a position of power within the Saeed, Kate, Rousseau kind of alliance as they walk around. So, and the big thing, which isn't told, expressly said, but I think is glaringly obvious, that he pushes Mikkel into that clear force field, knowing because Mikkel is just almost spilled the beans that he was a paraplegic. So I was just like, oh, he literally just killed him, not to just see if this would happen, but also because he didn't want anyone else to know.
We have a very different Locke now than we did in season 1. Like, Locke is willing to murder people in order to keep secrets, which wild.
Doesn't that sound like his dad?
Oh, and that ties it all up with a bow when you see at the end of this episode.
Who's tied up with a bow?
Exactly. His father, which I think is wild. So we learned that the man from Tallahassee is in fact Locke's father on the island.
Also, nobody was asked for this, but I stan Ben. I love him so much.
Dude, he's such a good character.
He's so incredible. He's evil, but in the best ways. Like,
yes.
Like, he's just so cunning and so quick, but also I don't know how he knows everything he does, and I can't wait until we kind of learn more about that. But my God, he's so good at it.
And we got to see a new character who's like I love him. You got to see Richard, the person that is kind of his helper.
Oh, the one
Ben's helper,
his wheelchair.
Yes.
The one who is the mayor in the Nolan Batman trilogy, who has the eyeliner for realsies.
Yeah, he's got like these thick eyelashes that make him look like eyeliner.
Nope, it's eyeliner. I'm convinced.
I don't want to spoil Richard's character, but I love what they do with him as someone that is like a side assistant to Ben, and like how they and how they build Richard up to be his own thing. Love Richard. And I forgot that Richard is introduced in season 3, which made me even more excited.
And I also need to say, Ben has the best one-liner throwaway lines that are just so freaking funny. And so like Locke gets out of the closet, like holding a gun to Alex's head, and was like, what did you say? Was that code? He's like, no, we don't have a code that says there's a guy in a closet holding a gun to my daughter, but apparently we need to have one. I was like, you shady bitch.
So good.
You can't tell me Ben's not a queer. I'm saying that.
He's queer coded. I'm here for it.
For sure. And then the Nikki and Paolo episode.
Expose. Okay, I've been talking this episode up all season long. What were your thoughts finally watching Expose?
I was so nervous going into this. I was like, do we have to watch this really horrible episode? And I'm so happy we did.
It's so good.
It's so good and so bad. And I can forgive all the bad, corny, like we clearly are fitting these two into all these flashbacks in a way that they weren't there before. Like, that's amazing to me. I kind of love this.
And it kind of worked in some scenes.
It totally worked. Worked. What I didn't like was that we got 2 of the worst ever Shannon appearances. And I was just like, I literally unmuted when we were watching and I said, can we please kill her again? Literally, the one scene, it's just when the plane crashes and she's just screaming like, ah! And I'm like, oh my God. And like literally somebody push her in the turbine. Like, I don't get it. Like, my God. No, I thought it was really good. And like, but I also love that while they're both clearly kind of cunning, they're both really dumb at the same time.
Yes.
Like, I love when people are good at a certain part of crime or thinking or whatever, but are so dumb in every other regard. Why are the diamonds that important once you've crashed on an island and there's no hope of getting off of it?
And why would you hide said diamonds in your waistband?
Why would you? I just don't understand. And then Paolo saying that line. Also, oh my God, not Claire. Nikki is literally dumb. She's like, the scientist told me about the spider. I'm like, yeah, the scientist also told you about the pheromones, you dumb whore. Like, you just smashed a bug and apparently 100 of them are going to come now. Like, you dumb bitch. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they're so stupid. And then she was trying to say paralyzed, and then she dies right when they put some dirt over her face because she gets buried with the diamond. It's poetic. It was poetic. What I don't like about the episode, though, besides the like little corny parts, is that how is this supposed to factor into anything of what's going on?
It doesn't.
It literally was a filler episode to be like, we don't know what to do, so we're going to do this, and these two characters aren't working out, so let's just kill them.
Yeah, let me look this up real quick. I'm pretty sure. The reason why they created Expose. The reason why they created Expose is because they cut them short due to the huge backlash for the characters. So apparently Nikki and Paulo were supposed to be a part of the show much longer. They wanted to establish them as like people that as my headset flies off. I'm going to read this verbatim as it says on Lostpedia.
Okay.
As revealed in the season 3 DVD audio commentary for this episode, the original plan was to have an entire episode devoted to flashbacks for Nikki, only to reveal at the end of the episode that those flashbacks were all just part of the TV show Expose. And the actual episode, that revelation already occurs at the end of the first flashback scene. So like the intention was to establish that Nikki was this actress. And then later throughout the season, as more flashbacks come in, you learn she's a criminal. She is not a good person, and neither is Paulo. And honestly, I don't mind these two characters if they had shown up in season 1. Like
or even in season 2 if they were like on the tail end of the plane or something like that.
Like I feel like they were good enough and strong enough as characters to where they actually would mesh really well with the cast, but they came in so late into the story that it makes sense why they killed them off as soon as they did, because the backlash was so bad. Like when I tell you, when Nikki and Paulo showed up in that first episode that they show up in, people were like, who the fuck are these people?
That's why I love the recurring, who are you? That Sawyer has like, who is this? Who's Nikki? Who's Paulo? Which it did make sense for Sawyer's character because a lot of them coming out of the woodwork was like when Sawyer was kidnapped.
Yeah. It's so dumb. It's so dumb that I love it. And I do like that we get more scenes with Arts because I think he was a silly character and we learn a little bit more about Arts. But overall, you could tell that they wanted to use this episode to give more time for some of the side characters. They brought back Ethan. They brought back Shannon. They brought back Boone. They had those moments with Arts. You can tell that the writers had fun with this episode. They're like, let's bring back some old people. I'm also shocked how they filmed the beach crash scenes again, because fun fact, they were not able to get the original set again because they lost all of those set pieces in the first season, which is why they moved all of the crew to a different camp in season 1 because they literally couldn't film on that set anymore. So for them to be able to recreate it for this episode was shocking.
Well, it made me wonder how much of it was actually recreated and how much of it was CGI'd putting new things in. But also this is the mid 2000s and CGI technology was not the best at that time.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job. Also, really fun fact, this is the lowest rated episode of season 3 of Lost at a whopping 11.52 million viewers. That's how popular Lost was when we can say the lowest rated episode was 11.52. And this is a show, this is before streaming devices. Obviously, like streaming devices, it would probably do a lot better. But to only be on television and people watched the premiere, and that was the only time you could watch it, was when it was on TV that one night. To have 11.52 million people tune into this travesty of an episode is impressive.
So I need to share something with you now.
Yeah.
So the actress who plays Juliet in Lost, I discovered is in a new show that's on Netflix. And it's queer. And but she's not. It's queer. and it's the corniest fantasy kind of thing. It's so bad it's good in the sense that like I can't not watch it now. It's a Netflix series called First Kill, and it's about a family.
Oh,
have you read or heard about this?
I've heard of this, but I haven't seen anything.
It's about a family where the protagonist, Cal, she is from a family of monster hunters, and like they're like, once you get your first kill, like you like rise up in the ranks, a kind of thing. And then this other person, which I think her name is actually Juliet, which is crazy, is a vampire. She's a legacy vampire, so she won't like until she gets her first kill, she doesn't actually have all of her powers, and there's like a whole thing about it.
Okay.
Juliet's mom is Juliet from Lost, and so she's like this regal vampire boss queen, and I'm like, oh yes. I watched 5 episodes with my friend the other day, and we were like the entire time like, the writing is horrible, the acting is horrible, the lore is okay. Why are we addicted to this? And I think we should do an episode where I show you like the pilot or something and we talk about it.
I'm down because I saw it on my Netflix. So maybe I'll watch like 3 episodes and we can like just talk about
3 episodes would be perfect for you to watch.
You know what? Let's do this. Have you ever seen Buffy?
I have not seen Buffy, and I really would like to see it.
Okay. So maybe what I'll do, because I've seen Buffy, you try to find like 1 or 2 episodes of Buffy and watch it. And I'll watch 1 or 2 episodes of First Kill. And we'll do an episode where we talk about vampire slaying realness.
Yes, I'm here for that. That'll be great. And then I will also say another idea that we've had for the podcast is to watch Trixie Motel and review, because I think there's been 4 episodes that have come out at this point. So we'll see. I think that could be kind of fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be a ton of fun. So I just want to give you like an inkling of what's coming up in Lost. I'm going to say the next 3 episodes and tell you who they're centric about. So the first one, the next up is called Left Behind. Who do you think that's about?
Left Behind. Charlie?
It is a Kate-centric episode.
God.
I know. But it is a decent one. I would say the flashbacks not so much, but the on island stuff is really good.
Okay.
You actually learn a lot more lore about the smoke monster.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. All right, just a little bit more about the smoke monster.
It's just Locke's dad's farts. I get it.
And then the one after that is called One of Us.
One of Us. One of Us. Okay. This would be cool. Is One of Us an Alex?
I would love that, but no, it is also an iconic episode for Juliet's. It's a Juliet-centric episode. So good.
I knew it was going to be an other. Like, I knew it would be an other, and I was just going, ooh, it'd be so good if they did an Alex one.
I just fucking love Juliet. Yeah, so this is a Juliet-centric episode. It's really great. And then after that is an episode called Catch 22.
Sawyer.
It is a Desmond-centric episode.
Okay.
And I am of the strong belief that Desmond episodes are always some of the best episodes of Lost. So,
and then how many more episodes after those 3 do we have? Because for those that don't know, what we're trying to do is watch all of the rest of season 3 of Lost, and then we're going to go through and watch all the rest of season 3 of The Nanny. What?
Oh my God, I forgot how iconic Catch 22 is. Bitch, it is a fierce ass episode. And then after that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 more episodes.
We only have 8 episodes left in this. This is crazy. Okay, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I think that we're going to keep on our pace and try to watch a couple episodes a week if we can and kind of go from there. I mean, I'm not opposed to, I have no plans this weekend. So if we want to watch all 8 in one day, I'm happy with that.
Oh my God. That's a tall order, but you know what? I like tall and I like orders. I don't know what that means, but Beth, where can they find us?
They can find us at Hot Mess Moments on Twitter. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple if you would like to add us to your podcast library collection. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to us here on YouTube if you're watching the video version.
Yeah, and make sure to leave us a 5-star review if you can. It helps us out tremendously with that algorithm on Apple Podcasts. And thank you all so much for tuning in this week. We will see you all next week with another topic and another conversation. And until then, stay awesome, stay beautiful, you lovely people.
Bye.